Bryce Canyon National Park in southwest Utah. It's really a good one. It's a little different from some of the other nearby parks, different than Zion, different than Arches. You might think of this park as the park of the Hoodoos. You're going to remember it in that way after you get there and you see those thousands of those spires down there. You're going to walk down in them. It's going to be amazing. This is how you get started. Park at the general store. It's a nice store and restaurant. You're going to leave your car there about a half a day because you're going to take this hike. Walk your way. It's not very far up to Sunrise Point. You can see we were treated to a little snow on the day we were there, late April 2021.
Maybe.
They get some snow
This is happening.
because of the elevation. We were glad to have it because it created some spectacular views. It accentuated the colors. It warmed up to about the mid-50s and we were comfortable. Now these views here at Sunrise Point are amazing enough, but when you get over to the Hoodoos and you imagine going down in there, and you're going to do it, you will be even more amazed. Look at that. You're going to walk down, down, down. You're going to descend those trails to the very bottom and kind of do a horseshoe. You're going to come back up that rim a little further on down and sort of make a big circle. You're going to descend, as you can see here. You're going to go down quite a bit. You can see those ponderosa pines on down further. That's where you're headed. These trails are made with switchbacks to keep it from being too steep. But it's a pretty good workout. You can see they have little tunnels cut out here and there. Patricia down there picking the brain of that man about things he had seen somewhere else. There's Patricia over on the other side urging me to come on out. She had some picture in mind she wanted me to pose for. By now we're down in there looking up at all those hoodoos that we had been looking down at. And it's stunning. And they're so huge. They're very substantial. Bryce Canyon is not a canyon at all. It was created by upheaval of the earth and erosion. But the man who originally tried to settle this and start a ranch there, Mr. Bryce, named it after himself, thought it was a canyon, named it Bryce Canyon. He famously said, "It's a heck of a place to lose a cow," and I'll bet that's true. You can see these trails are really pretty good. We didn't have a bit of trouble. We had good shoes, Merrells with good grip on them. It got a little slippery here and there, a little muddy after it thawed out. That's supposedly the Queen. I'm not sure we could see it that well, but it was the Queen's Trail, so that's where we were. When we get all the way down to the bottom, you're treated to these ponderosa pines, and I mean, they are interesting. And then there's
Man,
this.
we just been to see the Queen, and now this. Hope you're not slip. Bust my rusty. Slick, slick, slick.
And it was quite slick. I was being careful. It's not the kind of place that you can just skip around and maybe dance your way out of. Except for Trish there. And my mean little wife, I didn't know that she was videoing me while I was narrating that very thing in my octogenarian way of trying to carefully tread my way down through there. It really was slick. Now, I'm telling you, it was slick. On down into the bottom of the canyon. It's a pretty substantial length of this down at the bottom where it's fairly level through the woods. Then you get the Navajo Loop. It's a choice you can make. We elected to take the Navajo Loop. We think you should do it. Make that choice. After a time, you begin to ascend.
Patricia here. And wait.
You're going to go up quite a bit. I'll show you that right here.
That's how we get out. Yikes.
It's fascinating.
There.
Right up that one little draw, there's a series of switchbacks, and you just work your way straight up there. Back and forth like that. It's really quite well maintained. It works.
Gotta go up. Just came from there.
We packed a little water. You should too. Fascinating views all the time. I put a little too much faith in that flimsy little fence, don't you think? What happens next is when you leave that and you finish that, you're going to drive. Here you are at Inspiration Point, and I should say you're going to drive from one little pull off to another. They're fairly substantial, but they're sort of individual lookout points. Park your car, get out, look. Move on to the next one. Now that's a lot of hoodoos down there. And you can sort of see that trail in the Ponderosa Pines down there where you were earlier. And the view, the distance. Another flimsy little fence, and that's a pretty good drop off, don't you think? Rainbow Point, 9,115 feet. That's the highest elevation we were. See what a nice place it is? Bathrooms at some of them. It's pretty nicely done. Trish wanted to do that trick. I wanted to do it too. Black Birch Canyon, 8,750 feet. And I should say that you don't feel the elevation in any way adverse to your breathing. I mean, the air doesn't get thin or anything like that. Don't worry about that. Nicely made. Look at that. By the end of the day, you will have walked and hiked about 10 or 12 miles. Our phones recorded that we ascended the equivalent of 66 stories. We have one of those natural bridge in Cana, back in Virginia, where I'm from. Farview Point, let me talk about this right here about the end of this video. Farview Point, you can see 165 miles all the way south into Arizona, even to the northern rim of the Grand Canyon. Bryce Canyon, go do it. We got out of there, we went to Ruby's Steakhouse, we renourished ourselves, started planning the next day to Zion Park.